That's really what it comes down to. And I'd still like to think I'm relatively young in the league. I'm again in my 7th year starting, still in my 20s, hanging on to that for one more year. So it's hopefully I can look back at this point and say I've learned so much more 5 years from now.
He's still in his 20s. He's still a young lad, but you got to love that maturity out of Jared Goff. I know he didn't go into much detail, but it was just like, man, just gaining experience, learning from his mistakes. He's become such a more mature quarterback. We can see him coming into his own. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing too. I think that a lot of people didn't really think, like, when Jared Goff got to Detroit, it felt like everyone in the fan base and media, everyone kind of looked at Jared Goff as that young Jared Goff who was in his fourth season, coming off of his 4th season in the NFL or whatever it was. Obviously went to a Super Bowl, but he was the number 1 overall pick. When you're the number 1 overall pick, you have the highest expectations out of any player in the NFL, especially if you're a quarterback and getting picked number 1. So he was coming off that. I feel like everyone in Detroit was like, all right, we're getting a washed up number 1 overall pick who struggled a little bit at the end of it, and he still didn't struggle. Like, if you really looked at it, before number 1 overall pick, a young quarterback, everyone was like, can he really do this? And it felt like a lot of people wrote him off early in Detroit. But at the end of the day, looking back at it right now, the Detroit Lions, they have a very, very a good veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a young quarterback anymore, which he still is young. He's 27, 28 years old, and he's still he's a veteran, a young veteran quarterback. He has the kind of outlook in the NFL and on offenses and defenses as a quarterback that's been in the league for 10 plus years, because he's experienced everything from going to a Super Bowl to being in the losing season to struggling to getting traded. He's gone through it all. So he knows what it takes to kind of take a team and a franchise to there. And I think it's awesome actually to have a quarterback like him in this franchise, especially in the stage of his career he is, where we've said it at the beginning of the season, where he's entering his prime. And he's at that age to where the next 4 or 5 years, he's going to be able to he's in that prime. That's where I'm starting to go to the point to where, hey, just sign him tomorrow.